Paternity tests, parole, and parenthood. Gypsy Rose Blanchard and boyfriend Ken Urker will be untangling it all on season 2 of Lifetime's Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup. The couple joins me now. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Now listen, I feel like I kind of got to start this interview with a little admonition because I understand that you both admit to looking at the comments on social media. You know you shouldn't do that.
I know.
You know you shouldn't do that, but you're doing that. And so I wonder if you struggle with that and struggle with the attention, then why even do another season of the show? Why come back for more?
Well, I think it's not so much. It's not for the haters.
Yeah.
It's not for the scrutiny. It's for the people that have cheered me on, even before I got out of prison. And that community of support has welcomed me with open arms. And so I continue to share my story, not for the scrutiny, but for the support and the supporters, because it's like, I feel like they connect with me as I'm learning and thriving through life. They're watching that.
7 years ago, we met for the first time.
I got back with the man that I truly love. We're unexpectedly expecting.
I wished she had gotten through this divorce before this happened.
Brian texted me. He has lingering hope that I will go back to him, even with the pregnancy.
If I am the father, I will do my responsibilities.
I never had any doubts of who the father was.
Are there any regrets that you do have, though? Because there has been this conversation about you getting pregnant before your divorce was over.
I don't regret the outcome, but I could have handled it better. I think we both could have handled it better, and that's hindsight 2020. But we're here now, and we're looking at the positive, and we have a beautiful daughter.
You do have a beautiful daughter. You definitely do. Ken, I wonder, did you have doubts going in, thinking, am I the father? Am I not the father? What am I going to do about this?
I think the entire time I knew that I was the father.
you knew.
Because I knew the timeline, I knew all the information. So I had no doubts. And then, in fact, when we did the first test a few months back, like it was more so for everyone else, not for us, 'cause we already knew. So, no, never did.
She's wrapped around your finger, that little girl.
100%.
Is she a daddy's girl?
She is already. He gets the best burps.
Oh, I love that. You know, we see in the first episode that even though you were expecting a child together, you couldn't live together because you know of the conditions of your parole. Where are you with that now? What's the current living situation?
It's still the same, still going back and forth. But in three months and a few weeks, I will be off parole officially.
Oh, wow, okay.
And we'll take the next step.
Yeah. And the next step is moving in.
Absolutely. On day one.
You're like 3 months and 2 days.
Yeah.
She's in there. I love that. Because it does have to be hard when you have a young baby. I know you both want to be there 24/7 with her at all times. You know, I'm sure that's got to be really, really difficult. We also see you guys going to couples therapy. What do you think the biggest challenges are when you're trying to face this relationship, and is marriage something that you're working towards now, especially like in therapy? Gypsy Rose is like looking at you, Ken.
No, absolutely. It's on the table. Like, we're moving forward in that direction 100%. You know, we had some things to get through this year first, but it's definitely on the horizons for
So
all of
marriage
us.
is the ultimate goal for both of you all, not just partnership, but you do want to be married.
Right, of course. I mean, I still believe in marriage. Despite everything, I still am a hopeless romantic. So.
Yeah, we do that. But it is, I can imagine, it is tough to keep your heart open after you've gone through disappointment and gone through, you know, a marriage that didn't last. What mistakes do you think that you made in your first marriage, in your marriage to Ryan, that you don't want to repeat with Ken?
Honestly, I feel like judging the whole relationship on like one bad day, or a few bad days. I feel like people go through ruts, they go through challenges, and you can't just write off that relationship just because it gets hard. I felt like maybe I gave up on my marriage too soon, or I didn't really feel like I gave it everything that I had. And so now with us being new parents and we have a child together, giving it everything I got is important. So yes, we do couples therapy and we're doing great.
It's work, But it's good work, right?
Right.
It's
Work that
fruitful
matters.
work.
Yes.
Absolutely, because like you said, you are parents to a new baby girl, Aurora.
Yes.
Yeah, you both get these grins on your face when you say her name. How you finding parenthood?
Excellent.
Good?
We're doing really,
Absolutely.
really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It brings a whole new meaning to life, and every day has just been more exciting than the last.
Yeah.
And just watching her grow more and more each day, it's just
She's
been a
so
real blessing.
beautiful.
Oh, I love it.
I know everybody says that about their own kid, but
Listen,
she really is so
right?
beautiful.
You're like, she really is. My baby really is. Did you were you ready? Do you think to be a dad, or was it like out of the frying pan into the fire?
I think it's a little bit of both for all
Okay.
first-time dads. You know, you think you're ready, then some days you're like, I'm not sure if I am, and then once she's here, you just kind of, put it in gear, and it's been nothing but fun since the beginning, and she's been the best baby too, the most behaved, like lovable baby too.
Aw.
So we're definitely blessed with that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's been like a whole new beginning of a whole new life, and I've loved every minute of it so far.
How do you divide the responsibilities? So
We flip a coin.
Okay.
There's
Yeah.
actually
Okay.
they make a coin that says daddy's turn or mommy's turn, and we flip it.
Sheriff's office, I got death threats. People don't feel like I'm gonna be a good mother because of what my mom put me through. Let me prove you wrong.
Gypsy, you talk about breaking the cycle of abuse that you experienced from your mother. And I would think that would probably be one of the things that sits with me, because we also know that sometimes we can fall into patterns that we experience. Is that a fear of yours? And how do you actively try to break that cycle?
It's not a fear of mine per se that I will become like my mother, because my relationship with my daughter is already so vastly different than my relationship was like with my mother. And I think by keeping a very close support system, like my stepmom, Christy, my dad, my sister, like Ken, like I have all of these people in my corner that can say, Gypsy, maybe this might be a better choice.
Right.
They're a guiding light to, if I don't fully understand something or kind of question what am I doing as a parent, they're there to help.
That's actually very adult, very mature of you to say. I know that now that you have a daughter, you also have decisions to make in the future. How much will you tell her about your story, about her grandmother that you killed, and you having served time in prison? Have you thought about that now, or is that something that you try to put off to think about for later?
Of course. I mean, we knew, and I knew even before getting pregnant, that my future kids were going to have to be told about it someday. And so I think that it's beyond us. I think we're going to have to enlist the help of a child therapist at that point in time, because you never know. A child in her class or a parent could say something to her. We want to be the ones that kind of break the news to her first, and we're going to do it with the therapist, with her family. Like, we're going to make sure that it's as delicate as possible. And then when she gets a lot older and becomes an adult herself, I did write my own memoir, My Time to Stand, and at the very end, there is a part in which I kind of talk to her and tell her that, this is how I want you to know my story. This is how you can learn about what happened to your mama. And of course, that's gonna come a lot later when she's able to read it.
I think that's a really good plan. I think that would be my biggest fear, because kids can be mean.
Yes.
Maybe even unintentionally. I wonder, because how much have you followed the story of the Menendez brothers? Have you followed them a lot?
Partially, but
Yeah.
not a lot.
Yeah. Is there advice to give to them? Because they're going to be learning soon whether they will be released from prison. They're going to have to start a journey much like the journey that you've been on.
It's a hard road.
Yeah.
People viewed season 1 and the constant struggle of fame, support, negative comments, like all of that became very overwhelming for me, and I had to learn really quickly to try to just be myself, not care what the comments say, and just know that I'm living my life now.
Yeah.
I have been held back from living a life pretty much my entire life before getting out of prison.
Yeah.
And so I need to do what makes me happy. So if it means, hey, I read a comment that says, you have an ugly shirt, well, I like the shirt, so I don't care. So I would say just live your life. Yeah. You know, they've been locked up for a very long time. Yeah. And so I think getting caught up on some life living would be good for them.
You know, you wish Ryan well, that you hope that he finds happiness, but that he maybe was holding on to the hope that something could be salvaged with you all and that maybe you could get back together. Where does your relationship stand with him today?
Today, we have ended amicably.
Okay.
I feel like there's still far too much healing for us to attempt to even communicate or be close or be friends at this point. So there's just, I am letting him heal. He's letting me live my life, and that's kind of where we stand right now.
How do you feel about that, Ken? Would you be okay with like a friendship, being friends?
You know, whatever happens in the future, like Gypsy's free to make her own choices. Of course, I try to guide her and help her make the best choice, you know, but right now I think that we're just fully focused on our family and we're trying to leave the past in the past, and that's the healthiest way we're all moving forward.
Understandable.
And that's kind of just what I keep the light on.
Is there a message that you would like to send to Ryan?
I mean, we've had a very long road. Sure. Because we had the divorce and then we had the paternity stuff. So I just really wish him well, and I want him to find love and happiness. I want him to love again. I want that for him. Just because I wasn't the one doesn't mean that the one isn't out there.
Do you think about the time when people may not follow your story as much and you do get that to step out of the limelight, what that day will be like?
I think that day will be a breath of fresh air because I feel like I haven't stopped. And,
That's true.
I don't think it's going to happen overnight. I think, you know, nothing ever just happens overnight. I think there's going to be a time where I start to fade, and that's whenever, you know, real life begins, and it's kind of like, okay.
It's hard for me to imagine because we've all been invested in your story, and I think for the most part, I hope you do feel people do root for you.
I do.
Yeah, people really do root for you. People root for you to have a happy ending, and it feels like you're putting the pieces together to go towards that.
I am. Yeah. You know, I don't think that anyone has it figured out right away. I know I didn't, and so that's what we're getting to see through the show.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Aurora's mama and daddy.
Thank you so much.